Now that we've discussed the environmental impact of oil sands, we need to think about the planet as a whole and what we are going to do to help it. The Princeton University has come up with a plan known as the Carbon Mitigation Initiative. As carbon rates are increasing at an alarming rate, we want to stop them from doing so. Not decrease them, but just simply keep them at the level they are right now and eventually decrease. That would involve the removal of 8 million tons of carbon. This has been split into an easier concept grasp of 8 wedges, each of them in a little triangle showing the ramping effect of the increase in carbon. 8 wedges are equivalent to 1 billion tons of carbon. This we've devised a plan to get rid of by means of several effects, which will be explained here. For 1 billion tons of carbon to be removed, it will be required to increase the efficiency of vehicles by approximately 2 times. That would be from 30 to 60 miles per gallon for the average car. This would involve the need for more diesel vehicles, more hybrid vehicles. And we can do this also by lowering the weight of the vehicle itself and simply using stronger, lighter materials. This, though, would cost more money, and cars would have to be smaller and not quite as sturdy and capable of carrying as much. Though this will, in fact, help the planet, it will come with a cost. And if possible, it can be applied. The same concept as with the cars can be applied to trucks and planes and all other forms of transportation. Step 2 involves reducing emissions needed for home and commercial buildings by approximately 25%. This can be done with more efficient heating for the air and water, and more efficient lighting and appliances. Though this may cost some and may require the shrinkage of buildings, it will in fact reduce carbon by another 1 billion tons. A significant source of the global carbon emission comes from power plants. And if we increase their efficiency from 40 to 60%, the number of power plants required will lower, and we'll be able to eliminate another wedge worth of carbon. In order to make them more efficient, we'll need to add new technology, replace the old ones, and this will involve a tad bit of funding, but in the long run, it'll be all worthwhile. Now, we're also going to need to do some carbon sequestration. This involves taking the exhaust that would normally come out of the power plant and pumping it into somewhere underground. And we chose for this process to use the syn-fuel plants. Syn-fuel plants are plants that turn coal into a liquid which can be used similar to gasoline. The problem, though, is that in the application process, it involves significant amounts of carbon being pumped in the air as the coal is liquefied. Thus, it only requires 180 plants to be refitted with this technology in order to eliminate another wedge worth of carbon. It will cost significantly more, and over time we'll have to deal with the carbon being pumped into the ground, but as of yet it's one of the few solutions we have, and we're going to have to use it. One common source of clean energy that we all know is windmills and solar power. For this, we're going to need large amounts of land, equivalent to 3% of the U.S. for the wind farms, and 2,000 square kilometers worth of solar panels. Over time, though, we may be able to make these processes more efficient and either require less land or be able to off-put more with this technology. Hopefully, someone will advance this in the future. In order to eliminate the 7th wedge of carbon, we will require the use of ethanol, approximately 12 times its current level. This ethanol is produced from plants such as corn and soybeans, chemically being altered so that they form gasoline-like products. Unfortunately, this will require a large amount of land to grow the crops, approximate to the size of India. But those crops will be completely carbon neutral, in that they absorb all the same amounts of carbon that they give off as fuel when we burn them, therefore helping to reduce the levels of carbon in the atmosphere. Carbon is naturally removed from the environment by natural means. One significant source is that of trees. They take in the carbon as they grow and release oxygen, helping to clean up the environment. If we are going to have the trees help us with our carbon problem, though, we need to either stop the deforestation worldwide, or plant more trees equivalent to the size of the continental United States. This will require massive amounts of land, though, and if we stop deforestation, we'll have to deal with the timber industry. Nonetheless, it is one of the natural means by which the Earth tries to repair itself, and we've done enough to mess it up as is. Mankind has done serious harm to the Earth. We need to clean up our mess now, or else we're going to be facing much more disastrous consequences coming up. Massive effort will be needed to do this. There won't be a significant scientific breakthrough that's going to help the entire problem. No. What we need to do is use the technology we have available now. We need to start working on this. We need to lower our carbon emissions. And yes, this will cost us money, but we have to think. What are we doing to our planet? Are we gonna ruin it, let it burn out? Are we gonna leave a home for our children? Yes, it will have a cost, but we need to think less with our wallets and more about the world we live in.